Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. It's Dory with Cauldron of Crafty Creations, and my screen just went black for a second there, so hope it didn't cut out on me. Who knows? So it is day 21, and I don't even remember where I learned this, but they say it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. So I have now formed a habit of going live every day to work out most of those days. So here we are on day 21, celebrating habit formed. Oh man. So yesterday was tough. I babysat overnight over the weekend and did not take my CPAP with me, which was not a good move. I couldn't find the bag that I pack it in, and I was just there just didn't feel like figuring out another way to take all the moving parts. And so I was like, it's one night. Well, I ended up waking up at 4:00 in the morning and didn't go back to sleep. And I was like, yeah, probably because your brain was like, yeah, you keep stopping breathing while you're sleeping, so we're not going to go back to sleep. Though, I mean, waking up 4:00 in the morning is not all that rare for me. It does happen a couple times a month on a good month. So, could have been multiple things that went into it, but had lots of fun with the kiddos. My stay ended up being significantly longer than planned. But life happens, and I was talking to my therapist this morning. I was like, wow, I went the entire weekend. So 2 entire days without shedding a single tear over my mom. And that has happened a couple of times, at least one other time. I don't necessarily track like, I cried today. I didn't cry today. But I do know that Christmas Day and the day after Christmas, I did not cry. So I went 2 days then as well. But it's it's a very typical thing that I cry most days. I'm not like heavy sobbing crying, but just, like think of her and start, tearing up a little bit. And I didn't the entire time I was babysitting because I was too busy. So, and getting loved on by little kids is always special. And the 8-year-old she's sweet, and we have a great relationship, and I love her. But the baby, was the one who was snuggling me and giving me kisses and stuff the whole time I was there. So we had lots of fun, and I have, there's just, I don't know, I love that toddler age when they're still like just still babies, but they're moving around, and she's 2.5, so she's walking around and talking, and learning more and more words all the time. And so had lots of fun with the baby, and fun with her big sister. And so it was good, and made a little money, which is also nice. So a little unexpected income. I'm grateful for expected and unexpected income. More of that, please. Thank you very much. But so it was a good weekend, and definitely reminded me that I need to schedule time to spend time with children on a regular basis, because it definitely is something that I love and brings out that playful side. And so I really, really need to be more intentional about doing that on a regular basis, because it's something that fills my cup and brings me joy. So, and I am all about following your bliss and doing the things that bring you joy. So definitely will be working on getting over there to visit them and hanging out with other friends with kids more regularly. Time goes on, and I do my tutoring, which I do actually have tutoring students every single day now, because I was like, who needs a weekend off? Which, I mean, I don't tutor all day, so it's not like I'm But it was nice when I had a day or two off that I didn't do any. But I needed to take on more, and it just worked out that I ended up having them 7 days a week. And so I do get to spend time with kids in that way. But there's also something to be said for that time that's unstructured and not focused on lessons, where I get to be even more playful and have fun with them, which I do try to make lesson learning fun and be playful in my teaching style as well. Because I know that, the more engaging and fun the lesson is, the more the kids are going to be able to retain that and hold on to it. So that's always been a priority for me in teaching, is doing fun and silly things to keep the kids guessing and laughing and things like that. But and working on getting to a place where I can start doing some craft workshops with kids, and kids of all ages. So that will be coming, and in the future. So if that's something that you're interested in, like, let me know in the comments or send me a message and say, let me know when you do crafting stuff for kids, because I want to know, or for adults, because we're all kids at heart. Crafting is great for all of us. It's definitely a very huge part of my life, and has become even more central to my life since losing my mom. It's helping kind of fill that void, that not spending as much time with her, or not spending time with her physically. I still can, know that she's with me and feel her presence, and I talk to her and receive messages from her. But of course, it's not the same. And I'm not, I'm no longer involved in like taking care of her as I was her, actively, working as a caregiver for her. So there's a lot more time in my life, and pouring that into crafts has helped me to manage my emotions and deal with that grief in a positive and productive way. So that's and this is part of that too. This is definitely a way to honor her memory. Taking better care of myself and loving myself more, loving myself enough to take care of myself the way I need to, is something I do to honor her memory. And yeah, so life is definitely different in 2024 than it has been for the last 4 decades plus. So yeah, it's tough, and it's beautiful, and it's challenging, and it's rewarding, and it's all of the things. So yeah, I actually, a story popped up in my memories today about how, and I shared it. So, if you follow my page, you may have seen it, where her recliner was wearing out and it was making noise. And she goes, "Oh, I think it needs to be W-2'd." And I laughed and I said, "Well, Mom, tax forms are definitely not going to help your chair. And it's beyond the help of WD-40 as well," which is what she was trying to say, of course. And she had several, she had, some memory issues, and not, she would mess up common phrases from time to time. And of course I always had to laugh at her and tease her. And, but we laughed about them together. Just in the last year, it was just, a couple, like last summer, I think. So not long before she died, I had been over at her house one night, and she drank a ton of water. She's like, "Oh my gosh, there's a pain all night. I'm not drinking a bunch of water. And I gave her a water bottle and she's like, I'm going to doctor this one all night. And I said, what are you talking about? And she goes, sip on it and just, make it last. And I go, you mean nurse it? So, um, she had some doozies, and actually the night before she died, I was over there and I was talking about something that I was a little frustrated about. And she goes, well, whatever it is. And I was like, what? She goes, whatever it is. And I said, you mean it is what it is? And she goes, yeah, that's what I mean. Which that one was likely that she was not all with it because of the medical issue that ended up, or the combination of medical issues that contributed to her death. And there was a part of me afterwards that was like, oh shit, why didn't I recognize that as a sign that she needed more help and I should have taken her to the hospital? And I'm like, yeah, but you can't beat yourself up over it, especially because she did do things like that frequently. Not frequently, but often enough that it wasn't like that unusual for her to say something weird and me to have to try to figure out what she meant. And I believe that when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. And it was her time to go. And so it wouldn't have mattered, even if I had noticed and said, no, something's not right, and taken her to the hospital. Then she would have died in the hospital instead of in the comfort of her own home. So that's what I believe anyway. So, and, I'm very grateful that she is no longer in the physical pain that plagued her entire life. So that's definitely a blessing. As much as I miss her, I would not wish her back into that pain, even if it could help soothe mine. So, anyway, didn't realize I was going to get so emotional tonight, but whatever it is, right? It is what it is. Thank you, Sally. Sending you a big hug too. Yep, I know. You know what it's like to lose a parent and lose that big part of your world. Thanks, Dan. Yep, she was mighty special, my mama. So, love you too, Sal. Oh gosh. Well, I think I'm gonna call it a night. I felt so good after working out in the morning on Saturday. And yeah, she does live on through me. I felt so good Saturday after working out in the morning, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna start doing this earlier in the day. Well, then I took my exercise ball with me when I babysat, and I didn't get home until almost 10 o'clock last night. So I did not have the energy to bring the exercise ball in with me. I brought in what I needed to get through the night. And then today I was like, oh, I would work out, but I have to go to the car and get the exercise ball. And then I'm going to have to put more air in it because being in the car overnight and out in the cold, it shrunk. And so, of course, I needed to put air in it. So I did not get feel like going out to the car to get it. Oh, thank you, Moni. Yes, she's definitely my guardian angel, right up there with her mama. So I did not get the exercise ball done. I brought in until this evening, and I went to air it up, and I was gonna do it sitting on this green chair over behind me, and I decided to do it on my recliner, which is behind the computer instead, and that was not a good choice because you have to pry the little plug out in order to put air in it. Well, in order to get under the plug, I used a nail file and I like pried it out and it jumped, of course, when I plied it out, and it jumped between the two. It's a reclining love seat, and it jumped between the two recliners down inside the couch. And so then I'm like, okay, so now I have the exercise ball that's losing air. And I was like, okay, well, I'll start, airing it up and then I'll figure it out. So I'm like, and I have a grabber that was at my mom's house that I brought home. I was like, oh, that'll be great for when stuff falls behind my couch instead of having to so I tried to use that and it was not working. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to prop this against the couch while it's airing up the ball and hope that it at least doesn't lose a ton of air. And luckily I was able to see it and get it pretty quickly. But I was like, next time I'm not doing this on the recliner where it can jump. Although, I mean, I guess it could jump behind me anywhere, really. Could have jumped behind that chair too. So that was my fun oops of the evening, was when the little plug jumped, and I was like, I do have another one in my utility drawer in the kitchen. If I can't find that one, I do know where there's an extra, but didn't have to go get it. So that would have taken longer, and I didn't want to have to drag the ball with me while I had the pump in it, which I could have done because the pump plugs into a car battery. I mean, not the car battery, but the little thing for the car, where you could charge things, the charger in the car. And I have a little jump kit that's that I am able to plug something into like that. So I was able to bring it in the house and I didn't have to sit out the car and air it up out there in the cold. But anyway, it was always an adventure. So, well, I think I'm going to go. I don't want to get my heart rate up for too long this late in the evening, as I do want to get a good night's sleep again tonight. Last night I got a very good night's sleep, but I woke up at 7 this morning and I got up and I was like, nope, I'm not ready to be up for the day. And I went back to bed and got a very good nap until about 9:45. And I was like, okay, that was perfect. So then I was ready to get up for the day. So anyway, I'm going to call it a night. Thank you so much to those of you watching, whether you're watching live or on the replay. And if you watch the replay, let me know that you're team replay. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, I will drop it in the comments so you can come over and subscribe. And we are 1 subscriber away from me doing a drawing to give away one of my handmade creations. So if you haven't subscribed yet, why not do it today? All right. Thanks, everybody. I hope that you do something today that sets your soul on fire and brings you joy, and that you follow your bliss. I'll see you next time. Take care.